What's going on? Somebody the Pizza back once again with yet another video, man. We're in Bon Café Restaurant. This is French. No, my man, it's French. And they have a Korean menu for food. Which is a combination. It just happens to have Korean food. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're in this place in Sunnyside, Queens. And we're in this cafe. Let me show you guys what's going on here. We're just stopping by to get something to eat. I just like to get out of the, the normal areas that I usually frequent, just to enjoy myself. You know what I mean? I can imagine this place is like a place where you take friends and whatnot. You guys come together, you discuss ideas, make fun of each other. Maybe there's the friend, the clown of the group. And so that person gets picked on, it's usually a man. And then you guys move on with your lives after an hour, after 2 hours, or however long you guys hang out together. So I just wanted to make this video to sort of talk about lack of friendships, in big cities and how that can make individuals feel, right? Like, comment, subscribe, and we're gonna get into it right now. Clearly, me, somebody the Piso, I don't have any friends, no interpersonal relationships, no intimate relationships, because I don't know, it could be due to a whole plethora of reasons, high energy. A lot of people can't handle high energy. Perhaps I'm supposed to be a certain way and I'm not a certain way. So therefore I don't fit in because I just lack that contour of personality that fits me into the grand puzzle piece that makes up, social relationships, right? Interpersonal relationships, intimate relationships. So I can only imagine that a lot of you guys are probably feeling this way too. I can only imagine, seriously, a lot of us just don't have friends. I've seen a lot of us just by ourselves, just going to random places in New York City, trying to find meaning. Or just hanging out by themselves and just sort of contemplating things and, I don't know, instead of stepping out of the situation that you're currently in and trying to change it. I also know that male loneliness is a thing, like it's a big thing. We're living lives of quiet desperation. We are suffering in silence. No one wants to hear us. And then a lot of us fall into interpersonal and intimate relationships after a huge drought of the aforementioned types of relationships, just because it's a little bit of shaking to the mundane. It's a shock to the system. The proverbial system that is your status of your lack of friends, right? Your lack of interpersonal and intimate relationships. And we're not really doing any due diligence, any appraisal, any analysis properly of the people that we're inviting into our space. We're just happy that we just got smiled at. Of course, I'm talking to, every man, that feels male loneliness, but especially us that are living in these big cities. And in accepting these things without due process of analysis of these personalities that you're just accepting into your lives, you bring on hell, really. A lot of people that are not really concurrent with your ideas. And this is not to say that as an individual, you should be rigid with your beliefs. I think what's great about friendship is that you could share ideas, you can share topics. Just because you believe red is red doesn't mean that person believes that red is red as well. Red could be green to them. Thanks, man. It looks amazing. Thanks. All right, let's get a fork. Oh, there it is. Thank you. You're the best. All right, here's the food we got. This looks amazing. Crazy. I'm honest. The good thing about friendships is that we could share ideas, and just because someone believes that red is red doesn't mean that to that person that red is red. It could be red is green to the other person, right? I understand that, okay, why should I accept people in my midst that are twiddling objective fact? That's just for this arbitrary example. And even if that was the case, I think that as an individual, you should be a little open-minded to try to understand why red is green in the eyes of the other person. And of course, you stay staunch to your objective fact, not your objective fact, because objective fact is objective fact, isolate of whatever you subjectively believe. It's nice to understand, it makes you a little relative to people when you can understand why people tend to believe that red is green sometimes. And I think that's the power of friendships. I think friendships tend to open your mind and allow you to discuss ideas and maybe question a lot of the ideas that you have. That is not to say that you should discard your objective fact or whatever you believe about objectivity, just so you can have some friends. I'm not saying that. The thing is, though, with us dudes is that, or a lot of the lonely men in the city, is that there has recently been an attack on masculinity. I think that masculinity in general is one of rebellion. Ultimately, that's what it is. Every revolution that existed in the world, whether it be Japan, France, of course, because France had multiple revolutions, the Civil War, you know what I mean, Boston Tea Party in the United States, they were all led by men, masculine energy. Even down to what happened that started World War II. A rejected painter that was disgusted about his situation, and he went too far to try to rectify that situation. All of these revolutions start with men, and I think that the powers that be now understand, of course, due to a lot of analysis of history, what the power that men have and they hold, and what they've done. What has been happening is that there's been a sustained indirect and direct attack on men in social media, it's a lot of social settings, in order to undermine our ability to everyone else and make us question our abilities, our natural proclivities towards certain types of behaviors, certain types of speech patterns, so on and so forth. Due to a lot of men waking up and understanding this, they are getting cast out of their friend groups. They're not being accepted. They're not being spoken to. Of course, we are still at a base level of evolution, because a lot of men, we're still drinking alcohol, we're still smoking cigarettes, we're still doing drugs, a lot of us. And maybe a lot of us are doing that not for recreation, but for a cope with the situation, That is unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. We still need to move beyond that. Even though you don't have any friends now, man, even though people are not really rocking with you, you have to first learn to be your own friend. I'm not trying to quote Ariana Grande, you know what I mean? Be your own best friend, but there's some power in that phrase. There's some power in that song, you know what I mean? You gotta learn how to be your own best friend first, because people are constantly going to the more you evolve, the more you learn more about this society and the world at large, you're going to be more and more solitary. You're going to understand that people are really slaves to patterns, they're slaves to habits, they're slaves to ingrained behaviors that were built perhaps from trauma from a very, very young age, that's unexplored. So you have to understand this as an individual. The more you evolve, the more you wax and wane in this society, you have to be accepting of the fact that you may not have friends, especially in this world that's, in this society, Western society, that's become very, very gynocentric, and as a result, much more hostile towards natural displays of masculinity. A lot of men, generally, when it comes to masculinity, we tend to love things very, very dearly. All the creations of man come from love, come from a deep adoration of something, but that energy is transmuted into creating something, to try to transfer that love onto other people in an interesting way. Nikola Tesla may not have given the world kids through love making, but he's given us the electrical systems through his transmutation of that energy. Isaac Newton, same way, he never had kids, but his love for God gave us the laws of motion. And so generally us men feel a lot of love. When we get heartbreak, we tend to do a lot of crazy, drastic things because we felt really, really deeply. That's just the situation. So we need to find some way, as people that are probably lacking, a little social group, try to transmute that love, right? That energy that you would put towards love into creating something for yourself, show the world your love, as Isaac Newton did, as William Shakespeare did. Try to show them a new way of seeing things. That's the whole idea of inventing. That's the whole idea of creating, right? So don't let this place get you down, just because you're lacking friend groups. It's all good. You're gonna survive. Just don't let it get to your head too much, because you'll really tend to do something a little drastic. And then you're gonna be on the news. No one's gonna really remember you 2 weeks afterwards, and then you just become a blip lost in the corridors of time. So, and of course it's horrible. Don't be terrible, because you guys all have gifts to give, all of you. So do that, you know, stay solid of mind, and stay loving above all else. Transmute that energy. And with that being said, that's all I have to say today, guys. If you guys enjoy that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Don't let this place get you down. You know, I already mentioned it before. Society is tough, especially Western society, when it comes to valuing the presence of men, and much more importantly, because we're just vessels of the more hallowed bit, the value of masculinity, true masculinity. Ways of the interaction between sexes have been hijacked by perhaps a group, an elite group that's seeking to not only draw more finances from the population, but to cast us deep into subjugation through very clandestine, indirect, subtle ways and means, whilst we are just busy arguing about each other, about who should pay the bill, right? And who should text who first, you know? So we have to sort of open our eyes. Men, it's down to us. We've led all rebellions in the past. We've led all revolutions. We'll continue to do so. So we have to just sort of take a step back from this situation, this little civil war that we're having with the genders, the opposite gender, and because there's only two, and try to figure out what the heck is really going on and what can be done to surmount and to triumph over that. Stay radiant, guys. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Woo!